criticism after some of its own MPs over restrictions. Last night, 12 of them voted against keeping the ban on the rule of six. One of them was Henry Smith, the MP for Crawley. Afternoon to you. I suppose question number one, why are you opposed to it?
Good afternoon. Well, I think we need to strike a better balance with our need to tackle COVID-19 and make sure that there isn't a resurgence of the virus, but also the damage that the restrictions are doing to our economy, to jobs, and indeed other health conditions that perhaps aren't getting the focus and attention that they need. I recognise that the government has an unprecedented challenge. This isn't meant to be simply just a criticism of government policy for the sake of it, but I do think we need to strike a better balance and perspective. The chance of getting COVID-19, even in the most effective parts of the United Kingdom, is less than half of 1%. And I think we need to balance that, as I say, with other health conditions that people are suffering from, and the effects of increasing unemployment, which includes suicide, alcoholism, and other factors that are risking people's lives.
So the government position on this rule of six thing, they say it gives a clear steer, and Helen Whatley, these are her words, Health Minister, saying the guidance is simple, clear and absolute clear for everybody. And, well, it is, isn't it?
I think I'll let listeners judge as to whether they think the guidance is clear. Again, being fair to the government, going into lockdown was always much more easier to understand in March. We all knew what we had to do, and to be fair to them, coming out of lockdown as various measures are relaxed and then some are reimposed, it does get a much more confusing picture. But I've come across many constituents who really don't understand what the rule of six means, and also some who, because of their family circumstances, would be actually breaking the rule of six. I do think we need a better perspective and balance in our approach.
I'm just going to quote Helen Whatley again, who said that having no restrictions would let the virus rip. Is she right?
I think that's very emotive language. This isn't, and to paint people who are concerned about restrictions being an impediment on our economy, making other health conditions worse, and also infringing on our civil liberties, to sort of by sort of implying that means that if you're concerned about that, you're happy for this virus to let rip, I think is an unfortunate turn of phrase. There is a balance that I think can be struck between making sure that COVID-19 doesn't make a strong resurgence, but at the same time we are not doing long-term damage to our economy and our mental health and well-being as a society and as individuals. There is, I think, as I say, a better balance to be struck in the middle.
Interesting, though, that Scotland today, they've actually stepped up things. All pubs and restaurants across central Scotland going to be closed. So it sort of, look, it just shows that there is nobody really knows what the answer is.
Well, you're absolutely right that we have the benefit of hindsight about what perhaps worked and what didn't work maybe 6 months ago, and as I said at the very beginning, we are dealing with an unprecedented challenge. This wasn't of our making. We didn't invite COVID-19. This virus exists because at best the negligence of the communist dictatorship in China. And dealing with it has been extremely difficult. But we are now more than 6 months on, and if we don't allow our economy to get back to some sort of new normal, then we will be living with the consequences of this for a decade or more to come. And that's why I think we need to just stop and think that what restrictions are brought in are only absolutely necessary on health grounds and aren't being detrimental to other health conditions, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, alcoholism, suicide, have all increased as a result. I hope I'm wrong on this, but my fear is that the negative effects on other health conditions and our economy will kill far more people than the COVID-19 virus ever will. It is less than half of 1% of people, even in the most affected areas, who have coronavirus. That's not to belittle that challenge, but as I say, we do need, I think, balance and perspective.
Henry, thanks for your time this afternoon. Here's the MP for Crawley. Your thoughts, 813.